Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at parallel lines that are intersected by a transversal. So you're going to have two parallel lines or more. It's going to be intersected by another line or a transversal. And those are, again, either you're going to have the case of first angle plus the second angle, equals 180, okay? Or you're going to have that the first angle is equal to the second angle. All of these are going to be exactly like this, okay? What angle relationship you have is what tells you whether they add to 180 or they're equal to each other, okay? So you need to use the foldable that you've got in your notes from before in order to determine which one of these this is. So, looking at number 1, we have this angle and this angle, okay? So, since they're parallel, first off, since we have a transversal going through them, these two are going to be corresponding angles. So we're going to go ahead and start out by labeling them. Okay, so they're corresponding angles, and that's just an angle sign with an S, because they are both on the top right corner of the intersection, so they're in the same position as the two intersections. And corresponding angles are congruent. So underneath that, so first I want you to write what kind of angles they are, whether they're congruent or supplementary, and then we're going to do blank plus blank equals 180 or blank equals blank, okay? So, since they're congruent, we have blank equals blank, okay? We're going to fill these in. First one, we have 58, and then second one, we have 5x minus 2, okay? I'm going to erase my blanks, but that's it. Now we just have to solve for x. So I will add 2 to the other side to get an x on its own. So we get 60 equals this 5x, because those cancel. Okay? But then we need x on its own, not 5x. We'll divide by 5 since it's being multiplied by 5. Those will cancel out. And if you divide 60 by 5, you're going to get 12. Okay? So looking at number 2. Again, we're going to start out by determining the angle relationship. So we have this one and this one. You can see that they are on opposite sides of the transversal here, okay? So they're going to be some kind of alternate, okay? And then they are on the outside of these parallel lines, you can see. So they're going to be exterior angles. So they're alternate exterior angles. Those are congruent to one another. So again, we're going to have this blank equals blank. So we'll go ahead and copy them all out. So we got 16x plus 22 is the first one. And then we have 134 degrees is the second one. And then we just solve for x. So we'll get rid of the part that's on the same side of x that doesn't have the variable x. So we'll subtract 22. So that's going to give us 16x, those cancel out, is equal to 112. Okay? But now we have 16x, but we just want to know what x is equal to. Since 16 is being multiplied by x, we're going to divide x by 16. We'll have to do the same thing on the other side. Those are going to cancel out. And then if you do 112 divided by 16, you're going to get that x is equal to 7. Okay? So determine the angle relationship, whether they're congruent and supplementary. Fill in the blanks using these up here. Okay, and then solve. So, if we look at these ones, we're looking at this angle and this angle. Okay, so the relationship, we can see that they are on opposite sides of this transversal here, so it's going to be alternate. Okay, and then they are on the inside of these two parallel lines, so they're interior angles. So alternate interior angles, they are congruent. So since they're congruent, we're going to have blank equals blank. So I'm going to fill them in. We got 125 on one of them, and then 7x minus 1. Okay, and now we just have to solve for x. Add 1 to both sides to get rid of that minus 1. That's going to cancel out, which will give us 126 equals 7x. But then we need to divide by 7, because we don't want to know what 7x is. We want to know what x is. Okay, and if you could do 126 divided by 7, you're going to get that x is equal to 18. Okay? So again, you're going to label the angle relationship, determine whether they're congruent or supplementary. Then you're going to fill in the blanks and solve for x. So moving on to this next one, we're looking at these two angles. They're on the same side of this transversal, so they're going to be same side, and they're on the inside of the parallel lines, so they're just going to be interior angles. Okay, same side interior angles are supplementary. Okay, so if they're supplementary, we're going to have blank plus blank equals 180. Okay, so fill in the blanks. The first one is 9x plus 2. Second one's 133, and it doesn't matter which one you do in which order. Okay, we'll go ahead and add the 2 and the 133 here. So we have 9x plus 135 is equal to 180. We'll subtract that 135, giving us that 9x is equal to 45. Okay, because those canceled out. But then we need to divide by 9 in order to get what x is equal to. And that's going to give us that x is equal to 5. So if you take 45 divided by 9, you're going to get 5. So again, determine the angle relationship, whether they're supplementary or congruent. Fill in the blanks and solve. Number 5. These two angles, okay, they're alternate. They're on opposite sides of the transversal. And they are on the outside of these parallel lines, so it's going to be alternate exterior angles. So alternate exterior angles are congruent to one another, so that means we're going to have blank equals blank when we get a solve. So I'll go ahead and do 8x minus 77 on this side, then 3x plus 38 on this side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start by getting the x's together. So I'm going to subtract the smaller one to the other side, giving us 5x minus 77 equals 38. Okay, because those canceled out. Now we'll add this 77 to the other side to get that 5x on its own. That's going to leave us with 5x is equal to 115. Then if we divide both sides by 5, that is going to give us that x is equal to 23. So again, determine the angle relationship, whether they're congruent or supplementary. Fill in the blanks and solve. Okay, so these ones, you can tell that one's on the inside of these parallel lines and one's on the outside, but they are on the same position. So this is in the left corner over here, this is in the left corner. Since they're in the same position, they're going to be corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are congruent to one another. So again, we're going to have blank equals blank, except I'm going to move it up so I have a little more room. So we have 11x minus 47 on this side, and then 6x minus 2. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and get the smaller x to the other side first. So I'm going to subtract that 6x. Okay. So that will give us 5x minus 47 equals this negative 2. Okay. So we're going to add the 47 to the other side, giving us 5x equals 45, because those ones canceled out. And we'll divide by 5, which is going to give us that x is equal to 9. Okay, so we determined the angle relationship. We determined whether they were congruent or supplementary. Okay, so if you look at the top, this is for if they're supplementary. So if they're supplementary, you're going to just fill in these blanks with the two angles. And then if they're congruent, you're going to use this one and fill them in. I'm going to go and use the congruent symbol to make sure you know. Okay. I would like for you to try 7 and 8 on your own. Okay, I'll go ahead and start out by going ahead and saying that these are alternate interior angles, and that means that they are congruent to one another. Okay, and then these ones I want you to try on your own entirely. I'm not going to start you off on it. So now we're going to look at number 9. These ones are a little different because they do have x and y when labeling the variable, or when talking about the angle measures. So we're going to go ahead and just see what variable we have two angles that has. So we have one x here and we have an x here. So those ones have the same variable. So we're going to pick the ones that have the same variable. So they both have x. Okay? Well, those two angles are, you can see, are alternate. Okay, because they're on opposite sides of the transversal here. But they are interior because they are on the inside of these parallel lines. Okay? Alternate interior angles are congruent to one another. So we're going to have blank equals blank, and we're going to solve. So we have 8x minus 31, and then we have this 6x plus 3. And again, I'm going to erase the blanks so I have a little more room to solve. So I'm again going to get the smaller value of x over to the other side, smaller coefficient. Okay, so it's going to be 2x minus 31 equals 3. We'll add this 31 to the other side, giving us this 2x equals 34. Okay, then we'll divide by 2, giving us that x is equal to 17. Okay, so we solved for x. Now we need to solve for y. So let's go ahead and use these two angles. You can use the one with y with the other one, whichever one you want. But we can go ahead and say, okay, these are on the same side. Okay, they're on the same side of this transversal on the right, and they are in between these parallel lines. So they're same side interior angles, which means they are supplementary. Okay, so we are going to have blank plus blank equals 180. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the I'm going to do the other one first. It doesn't really matter, but this 5y plus 35 plus 6x plus 3. Okay, but we know what x is, so we can take this x value and plug it in. So we have 5y plus 35 plus 6 times 17 plus 3 equals 180. Okay, so if we go ahead and calculate what do we get here, we're going to have 5y. Okay, let's do that in a calculator real quick. Plus 140 equals 180. Okay, and then we'll subtract that 140 from both sides, which gives us 5y equals 40, which then we can divide by 5 to get that y is equal to 8. So again, on these ones, you're going to look at the angles that have the same variable first. Okay, so in this case it was x, two of them had x. And then you can look at the one with the other variable, and you can compare it to one of the other two angles and plug in what you solved for x. So let's go on to number 10. So again, we're going to start out looking at the ones that have the same variable. These two have x. You can see that they are on the same intersection, so they are either going to be vertical angles, which are congruent and don't share a side, okay, or they're going to be a linear pair, which are supplementary, and they do share a side. Okay, you can see that these ones share this side right here. Okay, since they share that side, they're going to be a linear pair. So I'm going to go ahead and write linear pair, which again means they're supplementary. Okay, so it's going to be blank plus blank equals 180. So we'll go ahead and do 29x minus 3 plus the other one is 15x plus 7. Okay, so if we take 29x plus this 15x, we're going to get 44x minus 3, do it a little bolder so you can see the difference, plus 7, it's going to give us plus 4 equals this 180. We'll subtract 4, which will get 44x is equal to 176. which we can then divide by 44 to get the x is equal to 4. Okay, so now we know what x is equal to. We can compare this one to one of the others. So we'll go ahead and compare it to this one just because it doesn't matter which one we pick. So these two angles are on the same side of the transversal, they're both on the bottom. Okay, and they're on the outside of these parallel lines, so they're exterior angles. Same side exterior angles are once again supplementary. So we're going to have blank plus blank equals 180. So we have this 13y minus 17. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this, but instead of writing an x, we're going to write a 4, because 15 times 4 plus 7. We just replace the x with a 4. Okay, so we're going to keep this 13y. Okay, and that's going to be, we have this minus 7 plus 15 times 4 plus 7 is going to be plus 60 equal to this 180. Okay, sorry, that's going to be plus 50. Type this into the calculator wrong, but now we're going to subtract that 50, giving us 13y is equal to 130. And then if we divide by that 13, that's going to give us that y is equal to 10. So again, start out with the ones that have the same variable. Okay, solve for that variable, and then plug it in to one of those in order to find the other variable. So again, on number 11, these two angles, you can see, are same side exterior angles. Okay, those are supplementary. I'm just going to put SUPP. Okay, so again, we use these because they both have x. So it's going to be blank plus blank equals 180. So we have 18x minus 44 plus, and then 8x minus 10. Okay, if we go ahead and add the ones with x together, so we have 18x plus 8x, we're going to get 26x minus 44 minus 10 is going to be minus 54 equals 180. Okay, so if we take this 54 and add it to the other side, we add it because it's subtracted, it's the opposite. We're going to get 26x is equal to 234. But if we go ahead and divide that by 26 on both sides to get rid of that, just to get the x, we're going to get the x is equal to 9. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at, let's do these two together. It really doesn't matter which two you pick, as long as you pick that one with y. They are on opposite sides of the transversal, so they're going to be alternate, and they are on the outside of these parallel lines. So it's going to be exterior angles. They're congruent, so we're going to have blank equals blank. So here we have this 13y minus 38. And then on the other side, again, I'm going to copy it, but instead of putting x, we're going to put 9, because that's what we saw for x as, in parentheses. Okay. So now we can just figure out what that is. So we have 13y minus 38 still equals 18 times 9 minus 44. It's going to be 188. We'll add that 38 to both sides. Okay, and that is going to give us this 13y still is on that side. Those cancel. 156. Okay, and then if we divide by 13, we're going to get that y is equal to 12. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and set up number 12, but you're going to do it on your own. Okay, so again, we're going to start out with these two angles because they are the only ones with x. So those are corresponding angles. You can see they're both on this right side over here in the same position. So they're corresponding angles. and therefore they are congruent to one another. So we're going to do blank equals blank, and you're going to solve until you get x equals some number. Okay? Now we're going to look for this one. We'll just go ahead and do that one and these one. So those are going to be a linear pair, okay, which means they are supplementary, and that's when you do blank plus blank equals 180, okay, which I will go ahead and fill in the blanks. So it's 9x minus 2 and 5x plus 424. Okay, so now we're looking at the other one though, and we have this 10y plus 6, and then we have 9 times whatever you saw for x minus 2. So whatever your answer is here, the answer is not 0. That's not what I'm saying. Whatever your answer is here, you're going to plug it in right there. And then you're going to solve until you get y equals some number. Okay, so I've set it up. We are not doing 13, 14, and 15. Don't worry about those ones. But try 12 on your own. Let me know if this helped any. Let me know if you have any questions. And I think you guys have practice problems on Thursday and Friday. So let me know if you guys have any questions on those as well, and I can help you the best I can. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.